I'm going to share with you 5 things that you need to look out for before you place or open a position in the market. That means 5 things to look out for before you place your trade. Now, if you understand these 5 things, you're going to have clarity on what is going on in the market and as well what you should do in the market. Now, if you are able to understand these 5 things as well too, you're going to have a very, very progressive trading. Now, the first thing you have to look out for is to simply understand the trend. The trend is very, very popular and it's very common. You can easily identify a trend with your eye, but most times we make that mistake of using our eye to see how we can identify the trend, which is very wrong. Now, the only way to identify the trend is to use a trend line and as well allow your strategy to tell you what the trend is saying, because when you use your eye, the mind tells you what the trend is saying, and you don't want your mind to tell you what the trend is saying. Only your strategy should tell you what the trend is saying. Now, if you're able to understand what the trend is saying, the next thing or the second thing you look out for is to understand market structure. Market structure is simply what tells us the pattern price is making. Price moves in pattern, and for you to understand what pattern is making or what price pattern is making, you need to understand market structure. Now, market structure tells us, okay, price is making higher highs and higher lows, or price is making lower lows and lower highs. So if you understand this pattern, or if you're able to spot the pattern price is making, you definitely have clarity while you're trading. I'm going to explain all these things on the chart. I'm just trying to make the theoretical aspects before we go into the practical aspects. Now, the third thing you look out for is simply understanding the point of interest. Now, if you have successfully understood the price pattern or what price is doing, higher highs and lower lows, or lower lows and lower highs, you definitely should be looking out for the point of interest or the area of concern. If you understand the area of concern, or let me explain the area of concern, it's simply areas where you want to make reaction when price eventually gets to that place or when price gets to that level. That means if price is making higher highs and lower lows, when price create another highs, there's an area where price might actually go back to and you take a reaction to eventually join this pattern or join the trend. Now, if you're able to understand the price and the point of interest, the next thing, which is number 4 thing you look out for, is simply liquidity. Now, liquidity is what simply drives the market. For price to move, price has to move from one liquidity to the next liquidity. So, understanding how liquidity works is very important because it gives you clarity on when to put your stop loss, your entry, and as well your take profits. You can't just bubble into the trend and say I'm buying because the trend is going up. No, you have to look for points or areas that you definitely put your entry, your take profit, and as well your stop loss. Now, the last thing or the 5th thing you look out for is to make an entry. Now, for you to make an entry, you have to look for confluences, or maybe look for what tells you that okay, it's time to enter this market. Look for few confluences. Or my summary. Look for few confluences or look for a particular confluence that gives you a signal that okay, it's time to execute. Let's go to the chart so I'll show you what I'm talking about on the chart. Now, here on the chart, remember the first thing first off I said we're going to look out for is the trend. Now, for you to understand the trend, you need to apply your trend or use a strategy to understand what the trend is saying, because with our eyes we can only see what the mind is saying. And now, if you look clearly here, what can we clearly see? We can clearly see that price is in an uptrend with our eyes. But what is the trend saying? The trend is what tells us what the price is doing. Now, if I'm to draw my trend now, this is how I'm definitely going to draw my trend. Why? Because there are plenty touches on this trend. Now, the plentier the touches, the valid or more valid the trend is. But some persons can choose to draw the trend like this. Now, this is still valid, but I like to go for the one that have plenty touches because it tells me or give me more information on what is going on. So with this now, I can clearly see that the one that's more valid for me is the first trend line. So what am I going to do? I'm going to understand or study what's going on this trend. Now, the first thing first off is that price reacts from this trend and then goes to this point and failed. And now when price failed, what here now becomes our point of interest or our area of concern. So what do? I will simply use my box button to mark out this zone here as area of concern. So what do? Now I'll go to the 4-hour time frame and study what is going on or what has happened below this box and see what I can possibly decide that will happen in the market. Now on the 4 hours time frame, I can clearly see that price is in the downtrend. How am I able to do that? I'll simply still use my trend tool, or I can use market structures to identify that. But let's see what trend is saying. Now the trend here is saying that the price is in a downtrend, and price broke above this trend, and price is trying to make a bullish move. But I'm not going to say the price is bullish or bearish at this moment now. I'm simply going to wait for price to get to this point before I know what to do and what not to do. Now, because I don't trade, I'm not a trend line trader, what I'm going to simply do is to work out my market structure. What the hell is this? I don't like this thing. Now what I'm simply going to do is to mark out my market structure. And now what my market structure is saying is that price is creating series of lower lows and lower highs. So what am I going to do out for? I'm going to see how price created the lower lows and possibly make a decision. Now this is the first low, and this high give us this low here. This high here give us this low, and this high here give us this low here, give us this low. This low give us this high, and this high give us this low. This high give us this low. You see how we do this? I'm trying to see how we can identify or spot our market structure. So what I'm doing now is trying to show you how price is creating lower lows and lower high. I don't want to put plenty trend line on this thing, so it will not be visible enough. So that's why I'm doing like this. So this high give us this low, and this low give us this high here, and this high give us this low. This low give us this high here, and that high give us this low. So on this trend, or say on this market structure, where I was able to spot out my last low was at this point here, and the last high was this one here. Now, does it mean that price is creating change of character, or does it mean that price is about to go bullish? I cannot say yet. We have to see what the strategy is saying, or what my strategy is saying. So whatever decision I'm going to make here is not based on what I'm saying, or based on what my strategy is telling me what I'm going to do. Now, if you have to study what's going on at this zone here, what you can clearly see that price was this low, and this low took out this high here, which might be a change of character. But let's continue. But see, when price gave us this low, when price gave us this high here, price gave us this low. Let me bring out this one. Price gave us this low here. So what are we looking at to do now? What price did here? What is price actually doing at this place now? For me, what my strategy is telling me that price is trying to create or induce liquidity below this my point of interest. That's what I'm clearly saying. And where is liquidity? Liquidity is simply areas where people think is going to buy or sell from. Now, what I'm clearly seeing here is that the price is trying to induce liquidity, engineer people to buy in the market and simply fail or simply sell off. That's what I'm seeing. That's what my strategy is telling me. Why? Because price came here and induced liquidity, creating double top here. Creating double top here, and still trying to paint a scenario that look like price want to be bullish, which might be actually true, but we have to see and understand what strategy is saying. Now clearly you can see that price have been engineered liquidity here, creating double tops, which price might actually take out before price sell off. Now see, price came here and induced people to buy, creating something that look like a change of character, and then this is the retracement, and people are buying from here to just to go. It might be true, but it might be wrong. We don't know. We don't use our strategy. If it works out for us, we play it fine. Now what I'm going to simply do here is to simply allow price to engineer a trend line liquidity, creating all these trend line liquidities here. What I'm simply going to do is for price to go above this level and simply start selling off. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame so we can see or get more information on what is going on in the 1 hour time frame. Now on the 1 hour time frame, what you can clearly see is that price is creating or giving us signal that price is in an uptrend. What do you see? Price took out this high, gave us a bit of retracement, and is going to the upside. But we cannot really say that for now that price is about to go bullish, because you can only see what the option is saying. Now for me, what I'm seeing here, that price clearly induced a liquidity above or below this my what I clearly see, that price clearly engineered liquidity, creating double tops at this place here and inducing people to buy the market and putting the stop loss above these places here now. I'm putting people's stop loss here. And for me, this is a trend that's creating, or maybe this is a trend that liquidity that price is trying to induce at this level here. So what I'm simply going to do is to wait for price to trade or buy into this my, or buy a bit to this my point of interest, and look out for possible confluences that's going to tell me to buy, to sell the market. But for now, I'm not going to say I'm going to join this trend to buy the trend, because there's liquidity pressing above this place. People are putting their stop losses below these areas here and hoping for price to buy. So what I'm simply going to do is for price to trade into this level here of my zone and simply look for a possible sell entry. Now what I wait for is for price to come here and give me a confluence or a change of character that shows that price is going to buy. Why? Because price are taking out this liquidity. Remember I said that liquidity helps us to identify where to put our entry, our stop loss, as well as take profit. Now if price take out this liquidity and come into this zone, what I'm simply going to expect price to do is to take out this liquidity and as well take out this liquidity here. So my possible setup for my possible entry or setup for this particular pair USD-JPY is to simply wait for price to come into this zone here, 50% of this zone, and I simply sell to this level here. So this will be a possible entry for me, and I'll place my stop loss right above this point here. This is where I'll put my stop loss, and this is where my entry will be. So this is going to be a possible setup for me on USD-JPY. But because my strategy is not 100% correct or not 100% accurate, there are times it's going to fail and there's times it's not going to fail. I'm simply going to apply a very good risk management and see how I can manage this setup. Remember, it's not 100% correct and it's likely going to not work or hold. But this is what my strategy is telling me to do. I simply identify where there's liquidity, allow price to take out the buy side liquidity, and then proceed to sell, take out the sell side liquidity by simply seeing that this double top here is a liquidity and our price is inducing people to buy at this trend here, creating trend and liquidity. So what price does is when price comes to this my level here, and I'll simply expect or look for confluences like change of character. This is what I'm looking out for on USD-JPY. I think this will be all for this video. You'll see me on the next video. Peace.